This is the Carolina Business Leadership Show. Real conversations, real leaders, and real lessons from business owners across North and South Carolina. I'm Carol Willard, and every week we'll sit down with entrepreneurs and leaders who are building, growing, and navigating the realities of businesses in the Carolinas. If you care about leadership, growth, and doing business the right way, you're in the right place. Today on Real Business Lifetime Lessons podcast, I'm joined by Nancy Jones, the founder of Envisions Interior North Carolina, a home staging, renovation, and design firm serving the Triad. For over a decade, Nancy has been transforming empty houses into inviting homes, helping realtors, sellers, and buyers see the true potential of a space. From staging and remodeling to design and Airbnb furnishing, her team brings vision and creativity to every project. Nancy's story is one of growth, reinvention, and leadership in a constantly evolving industry, and I'm excited to dive into lessons she's learned along the way. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
So, Nancy, what inspired you to move into home staging and design?
I have always been passionate about design. I started out owning a wallpaper company up in Chesapeake, Virginia, and that led to helping people furnish and design their homes. And it was just playing house. I've always loved it. So I had the opportunity to buy a franchise when we lived in Florida. And after we lived in Florida, when we moved back to North Carolina, and we jumped on it, never looked back.
So, you've been in the Triad for 11 years. How has that market shaped your business?
It's made me crazier than ever. It fluctuates so much. We own a franchise in another area under a different name, and the two markets are so different, but I can gauge what one market is going to do based on what the other one is. They're typically 3 to 6 months behind one another, so I know what's coming, and sometimes that's good and sometimes it's bad, but it really doesn't matter for us whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, because staging is still a necessary means to the end for a better price.
Absolutely. What was the biggest adjustment when you transitioned from the franchise model to running Envision?
Biggest adjustment for me was the legal side of it, trying to get everything set up on my own, because with the other company, that was part of the package deal that we bought, all the legal documents, the proposals, all of that. So having to do that, it wasn't as daunting of a task as I thought it was going to be. It was just more tedious. But thank goodness I have a great team. So we tackled it.
The team is always good to have.
You're only as strong as the people that are surrounding you.
That is so true. I truly believe that we all become the 5 people that we hang out with the most.
Yeah,
The best qualities of them.
for
So
sure.
you mentioned when we spoke last time that only 10% of people can visualize an empty home. How does staging change the game in helping buyers connect emotionally?
When a buyer walks into an empty house, that's what they see, an empty shell. And when I say only 10% of people can visualize an empty house, what that translates to is they can't see the scale of their furniture in an empty room. They need to see the finished product of how a room will live, how it will set up, to be able to determine whether or not, oh yeah, we can fit our sectional in here, or our sectional's not going to fit. We need a sofa and a couple of chairs, or just to be able to see how and what to put into a room. And the same thing goes for dark colors and crazy colors. People can't visualize their things in rooms with dark or overly bright colors in most cases. Now, dining rooms, powder rooms, accent walls, those are different. But we try to talk to people when we go into stage about lightening their spaces to make it appeal to more buyers.
So speaking of like accent walls and bright colors, how do accent walls play into the value of a home? Would you say that they increase them or decrease them? Or do you just, when you go in, just go ahead and cover it up and let the new person do what they want with it so that they have that creative freedom?
If it's some sort of crazy mural, we recommend painting over it or taking it down, whichever the case may be. But in so many homes now, thank heavens for Pinterest and House. People go online and they pull up these really cool ideas for accent walls with wood or some of them with wallpaper. And they really do accentuate the room. If it's a big enough room, you can get away with a darker accent wall. A lot of times it becomes the headboard wall in a bedroom or the accent wall in a dining room behind a buffet or credenza or something like that, or surrounding a fireplace. They're beautiful and they really do and can add value to a house if they're done correctly. And most people do. They take the time to do the YouTube thing and figure out how to build it or hang it. But if it's not tastefully done and to where it will add value, if it's just a hodgepodge of things, it can actually decrease the value.
Nobody wants that when they're selling.
No, for sure.
Walk us through the difference between vacant staging, occupied restyling, and full remodels.
So the vacant staging is, of course, an empty palette, nothing in the house. We come in and transform the entire space, furniture, rugs, art, accessories, lamps. It looks like somebody lives there, but minimally. Occupied restyle is where we will take things that a seller has in the house, and 9 times out of 10, it's where they're still living in the house. Sometimes it's where they've left these things behind and they want to sell them with the house. But we'll take their things, we'll usually declutter it and pare it down, and then we'll bring staging furniture, art, and different things in to lift it up and make it look more on trend. Remodeling is where we're doing the painting, changing lighting, cabinet hardware, flooring. We will do anything except build a new house.
Sounds like you're rebuilding from the inside.
Yes.
When you're in that process, especially with the restyling or the full remodels, how do you decide what's best for a client?
Given I'll just leave it at decades of experience, I've learned to walk into a house from a buyer's perspective. We have bought and sold and moved into over 40 houses in my lifetime. And so it gives me a unique perspective on letting a house talk to us. And I know that sounds funny, but we do, especially with the occupied and the vacant staging. I let the house tell me the vibe that it needs to have. We can take a traditional house and make it transitional or mid-century modern, but you can't take a traditional house with the bones that it has and make it a contemporary house. And that's where the remodel comes in. We're doing one right now that is very traditional, and we're just simply removing dental moldings and some of the brick exterior, putting stone on, changing the lighting to give it more of a contemporary vibe. And it will be what's known as a modern traditional. So we can tweak and make changes to lift it to what you want, but without doing major remodels, you can't go traditional to contemporary. So you just have to walk in and just walk around, especially on the occupied restyle, and see what the owner has, what they
Mhm.
have to work with. And sometimes we just have to say, your grandmother's couch is going to have to go. Victorian style does not appeal to 90% of the buyers now. The more transitional, clean lines that we can get for a seller in the house, the more we can accentuate the positive features of the house for a buyer to look at. The key is to make a buyer stop and stare in a room for more than 3 seconds. If a buyer can't find their focal point within 3 seconds of walking into a room, they're moving on to the next room. And if they're moving on that fast, there's nothing in that room that made them stop and go, wow, I love this space. And if they don't have wow moments in this house, they're walking out and they'll forget it within 10 minutes.
I've never thought of it like that.
The same thing goes for too many focal points in a room.
Mhm.
If there are too many focal points in a room in an occupied stage, if a buyer can't find the focal point within the first 3 seconds, it's unsettling to them. And that's where the dark colors come into. If something is unsettling to a buyer, they're going to move on, and you've got the same non-result.
So you completely understand the psychology behind like the spaces.
I do. Lots of training. Give you a fun fact on the psychology of room colors. Certain shades of blue are discouraged because of the mental side of some blues are predisposed to give people depression. So you have to really be careful of the colors of blues that you put in. And the same thing with colors of yellow. Yellow, if you don't like people to stay very long in your house, paint your room a brighter yellow. It is very unsettling, and your guests typically will be out in 3 days, which is still too long.
With Airbnb and short-term rentals growing, how has that side of your business evolved?
It's been a lot of fun. Each Airbnb that we do, sometimes they have a theme, sometimes they don't. We go in and we stage them and furnish them based on the aesthetics of the area around it and the vibe that the owners want to put in there. But we get to put everything in there and on some of them. Some of them we just help them finish them off with the ancillary pieces that they just are done. They don't want to do anymore. Sometimes we furnish them down to the very last knife and fork, sheets, towels. So we get to have a lot of fun shopping for these because our typical packages are prepared for the seller, and then we sell them the whole package, and then we go and set it up for them. So they really don't have to do anything at all. It's given us a different perspective on our business and opened our eyes to a lot of fun pieces and things that we otherwise would not have known the sources for.
So what are some common mistakes homeowners make when preparing to sell that staging can solve?
The scale of the furniture, too much furniture. We recommend people take away their personal photos, most of them. Don't strip them all because the house becomes too cold. But we take away any that are very identifying or specific to a job, a career, whatever you want to call it. We take away a lot of diplomas because you don't want your buyer coming in and looking at your things. You want them to look at the house because your things are going to leave. So we want them to look at the house and not you and go back and Google who you are. So we ask people to declutter, depersonalize, and take away. And we walked into a house one time and I counted 16 chairs in one room.
Wow.
Nobody needs 16 chairs. I am not kidding. It was a large living room, but there were like little dining chairs just scattered all over the room. And it was almost like you wanted to do a maze out of it. I wanted to make it fun. But, we took out probably 12. And people need to see the floor. They need to see, I have room to grow. A lot of people don't think about closets when they're getting ready to sell. You need to see 25% of your closet empty. Take away all the empty hangers, all the junk off the floor. If you can put it in baskets or boxes up on the shelf, do it. If not, put it in your attic, neatly, at a site. But 25% needs to be empty in a closet. Same thing for kitchens. If it looks like you're jam-packed in there, they think, well, they've outgrown this house. We're going to outgrow it quickly too. So it's a mind game.
So how did you go about building and relaunching your brand as Envision Interiors? And
A lot of social media about what's coming, building the website. I reached out to a lot of friends and neighbors and realtors that I knew and let them know. I waited until after our term was up with the previous franchise. And I said, hey, we're here for you. You know me. The name has changed, but your contact has not. And we just really talked to a lot of people and pulled family and friends to help us spread the word.
how important has social media been in building your visibility for your business?
It's incredible the effects that social media can have. You share one idea and all of your friends and things, your followers post it and like it, and then it gets shared and shared and shared over again until it becomes up at the top of the algorithm. And it's been quite interesting to see how much Instagram and Facebook play into your success. But we post frequently.
I will say, and this may have changed because the algorithms are constantly changing with Meta. They say like post at least 5 times a day, and only 60% of that needs to be about like your business, where like 20% of it has to be personal and stuff like that. I don't know. And that was a statistic that I got probably 3 years ago. So I don't know how accurate that is now.
We typically only post once a day. and we start our day with it because we want to make sure that I know me personally, if I'm getting 5 posts a day from somebody, I'm going to kind of back away from you because it just, especially with the way Facebook has done the algorithms now, you don't want to overly inundate somebody with meaningless things. We
Yeah.
find that if we do key posts at key times during the day, sometimes we'll do two, depending on what's out there, what's happening.
Mhm.
We'll do two. But we always try to make one to draw you in. And my marketing girl is Angela. She's incredible.
So what role does marketing play in the success of its design firm compared to word of mouth referrals?
It's huge because it gives your base, your database, your clients, it gives everybody a visual. The word of mouth is great, especially if someone has come into your home and seen work that we've done. But most word of mouth doesn't have a visual picture attached to it. So the social media lets people actually see the work that we do. And that's a huge difference.
So how do you lead your team creatively, especially when balancing different styles and budgets and client expectations?
I am so incredibly blessed with talented teams in both locations. I don't have to lead them on the staging side at all. As a matter of fact, I play a very minimal role in the staging. I buy the things that they have, but I focus my time on design and remodels and sales. They are so great at working with things that we have. And if we don't have the right look, they'll send me a message and say, we need to go shopping. We're always shopping. We're always selling. A lot of times we'll get asked to sell things when the buyers see the house, if we'll sell it with the house. We've been doing that a lot more lately just because we like to keep our inventory fresh.
Yeah.
But on the creative side, I really don't have to do any leading. I learn a lot from them. As much as I try to teach them, I learn just as much or more from them.
I'm gonna be honest, shopping sounds like the funnest part of your job. This is coming
It
from a
is
shopaholic.
until you
So,
can't find what you need.
what lessons have you learned about leadership from running your own business?
I've learned mainly, and I think this is probably my key lesson. I'm not going to ask anybody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. And I try to lead by example. We all do. I don't believe in micromanaging. I've had several bosses that did that to me and I despise it. I'll jump in when I need to and listen. Listening is so important because if you're not listening to your employees, why would they want to be there? And it's incredible that the newest employee that I have right now with Envision has been with me 5 years. The oldest employee has been with me 9 years and happens to be my bonus daughter. One of my marketing girl, I met her in a nail salon. We're sitting side by
Wow.
side, getting our nails done, talking about what we're doing. And we just got to talking about remodeling and I gave her my card. And several months later, she called me to remodel her bathroom. And we went and did the remodel with her and had so much fun. Victoria, the one that's my bonus daughter, she played a key role in the remodel. She and Angela became great friends. We finished the remodel. We're at our referral house that Angela sent us to in her neighborhood for someone needing a remodel. She's walking her dog and says, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" Sure. So I go out and talk to her and she said, "I had so much fun with remodel. Are you by any chance hiring?" We created the marketing position around her and she's been with me now for 8 years.
That's incredible. And that's
Yeah.
longevity, especially in this day and age. Because I feel like a lot of millennials, I'm gonna call myself out right now, they're moving on to a different job within, 2, 3, up to 5 years.
Yeah.
We don't stay one place long anymore. It's
Well, one
certainly
of
not.
our keys is flexibility. We give as much flexibility in scheduling as we possibly can. And Beth, the lead designer, came to me from a realtor that we staged for. It was a referral. Tim, my warehouse manager, his wife is a realtor. He came to me through her, and we have a great work-life balance, family first. So we've had a lot of obstacles, but they're such a great team and they work together so well that it makes it very easy to pick up somebody else when they've got to be out and just roll with it.
That's awesome. How do you encourage your team to bring fresh ideas while maintaining the Envision Interiors brand and standards?
That's a little tougher to put a short answer to, but I'll try. Right now, we have quite a few houses staged, and so therefore inventory was low. That's where the shopping comes in. We go to market twice a year in High Point, and we walk around. We don't buy anything when we're at market. We buy later. But while we're at market, we constantly look for inspiration, new trends, new ideas. And in both locations, after it's over, I'll talk to each team and get their biggest takeaways. And we take a lot of pictures and we try to implement a lot of things that we see. But being tight on inventory and having to come up with new ways of doing things and putting all different things together, it's constantly a new trend. It's constantly a new idea. So the creativity has to be there, because if you can't be creative in this industry, you need to walk away. You got to have your creative game on every day, every job. You're being interviewed for a job every single house you do. So you got to make sure that it looks good.
What is one of the hardest moments you've faced in business, and how did you push through it?
Wow. In August, September of 2023, in our other location, little bit in this location, but nothing like the other one. All of a sudden, business tanked. There were no houses on the market. Inventory was 80% lower than it normally was at that time of year. And it got worse in October, November. December was almost non-existent for staging. And we had some tough decisions we had to make, and we had to pare down, sell our truck, get rid of our own moving guys. We sold off a lot of inventory. We moved to a smaller warehouse, and we just really operated on a skeletal crew. And we pulled the team from here to there and just really tried to help each other out and just keep our assets as tightly as we could and not spend anything that we didn't have to unnecessarily. And then all of a sudden in January, it just started picking back up. But there for a while, we were not sure that we were going to make it.
That's a scary thing to go
Very,
through.
very. When you've got people relying on you for paychecks, it was really scary.
Looking back over the past 11 years, what's a mistake that turned into one of your biggest learning opportunities?
I am so incredibly passionate about what I do that when we would go into, especially remodel presentations with clients, I'm like, oh, let me share this with you. Let me show you what we've done and what we've put together. Never thinking about sharing all of our ideas and our mood boards, design boards, and floor plans of how we could renovate and what we would do before we had a contract. Never once until it did I think of a client taking our plans and doing it on their own without us. And so now we have a hard and fast, firm rule. You don't get anything from us until we have a signed contract. And then I'll share it with you, because then you own it. But same thing with staging. We went in and staged a house before we had the contract signed and the money paid. And we spent so much time trying to get money paid after it's there that we will not do a stage unless we have contract signed and money paid. And I hate to be that hard, but the one bad apple can really upset that cart.
Yeah, that is, people can be shady sometimes. I hate to say
Yeah,
that.
and I think I know, but I think probably the other side, the other biggest mistake that I made, I didn't measure a room correctly. I guesstimated, and the scale of the furniture was off, and I had to eat it. And that was a really, really expensive lesson to learn. So now we measure everything.
Personal qualities do you think have helped you sustain and grow your business over the year?
I am so passionate, so persistent, that if I firmly believe in something, and it's not about money. It's about your clients. This is strictly a relationship business, and I love meeting people and making friends. A lot of our clients have become good friends. I want to, whether you're closing the door to a bad chapter or you're moving on to a great chapter, we want to help you get to that next chapter as successfully and happy as we possibly can. We want to help you erase as much of the bad or negative as we can, but just being able to transform somebody's home and get the feedback. You made our house a home. It's so warm. It's so comfortable. We love going home. Those are my favorite words. I love coming home to my new bedroom. Whatever the case may be, for me, it's about knowing that I've made a difference. And that is the biggest thing. My husband jokes all the time about if I could do this job for free, I probably would. And I would. If money wasn't an issue in my life at all, I would still do this job. It's never felt like a job. It's a career path. It's a passion, and I love it.
When you have a career that you're passionate about, I find that it is so easy to just get up and do it.
Right?
A job is just something that you go to from 9 to 5 or whatever those hours are, but a career is something that like you truly get to like get excited about every morning when you wake up and it's time to do that.
And a lot of people think that what we do is a 9 to 5 job. It's nowhere close. You do your biggest part during the day, but sometimes clients can't talk to you until after 6 o'clock, and realtors can't talk to you until late at night when they don't have any interruptions. And we commonly joke with them about, okay, is tonight pillow talk night? I'm laying back and leaning up, back up in the bed, and I'm on the phone and talking to clients or texting with clients about things that they just noticed or things that they would like to have or do. That's part of the job, and I gladly take it.
If there's someone that's looking to get into the home staging business, what is one piece of advice that you would have for them?
Realize it's not a 9 to 5 job. It's an investment up front. It's a heavy investment because of the inventory that you need to purchase. But if you're driven by money, you don't see your return right away. It's several years down the road, but it's one of the most rewarding businesses. If you believe in people, if you're passionate about people, you're creative, and you're a relationship type person, it's for you. It's a great field to be in.
How do you see staging and design shaping the real estate market here in North Carolina?
It has become much more in the forefront than it used to be. It is so much more in demand now. And this goes back to some of the millennials because they can look at the apps, they can look at the virtual staging, and that's great. But the virtual staging still doesn't show you the actual scale of what you see in the room. And when a lot of millennials walk into a house and see an empty room, they're at a complete loss. Most millennials now want a move-in ready house. They do not want to deal with electrical. They do not want to deal with plumbing. And so not having your house ready to go on the market with updates that are necessary. You may get a contract, but as soon as you start getting into inspections, they're going to walk away. You see a lot more people walking away from the due diligence money now because of things that they're afraid of or things that they see in the house. And staging, and sometimes it's just minor renovations. It makes such a huge difference now because people are realizing days on market are shorter. Sometimes you're able to get a higher price because of the staging, how it transforms the house and makes it look like a home.
So you would say that investing in staging definitely impacts the seller's bottom line?
We have done some in our other location. I will never forget this one as long as I live. They had just a few pieces in the house. They had moved out, and we went in and we staged the rest of the entire house. And the real estate agent came in and she said, and these were her words, she said, "I never dreamed this house could look this good. We just listed at $100,000 greater than what we planned because now it's a showplace." I was like, wow. In the more real world part of it, you have had sellers add their add to their list price by $5, $10, $15,000 higher than what they originally intended price because of the renovations and the staging, decluttering. It was a occupied restyle stage combination. It went 25, 35 over list price. And it
That's a huge return on investment.
in a $3 million house. And we fully anticipated this house being on the market for longer than 30 days. It was under contract in 4.
Wow.
4 days. Staging helps days on market so much because when people are looking online, they can tell a lot of times that it is real furniture and they can see it and see the warmth of the space. And it really makes them want to go see the house. And when they get there, they do see the real product and they fall in love with the house. A lot of times we'll have offers within usually a week. Right now the market's a little bit different, so it's 17 to 24 days, but that's still really fast in over $1 million properties because we
Yeah.
specialize in luxury. I mean, our price points are anywhere from half a million to 14 million right now.
It's incredible. So what excites you most about the next phase of growth for Envision Interiors?
I want to say retiring, but I'm not ready yet because I'd do it for free if I retired. I think for Envision Interiors, just watching it continue to grow. I just hired a new design assistant because the design side has grown so much that I'm not kidding myself thinking I can continue to do it by myself. And with as busy as the staging side has gotten, I can't really pull anybody from any other places to help me with this. And I'm loving watching my people grow from one of the girls on the team. When she first came, she's like, I don't know anything about furniture, scale, nothing. She said, I can do what you tell me to do, and I can help you with the operations side. Now she can go design a room. She can do a stage. So watching people grow in their roles and expand their roles and grow our team and watching them build the relationships with the owners and the realtors, we're all on the same passion level. We all love the business that much. And it's fun watching them spread the word and bring new clients in. That's where I want to be, is where we all make a difference, not just one of us.
What life lesson from your business journey do you hope listeners walk away with today?
Don't ever let the negativity of what people are going through bring you down. Find a way to make a change in their lives to help them move out of the negative that they're in and convert it to a positive and help them move forward. Because by helping them move forward, you move forward and you become a more positive, motivated person. Don't ever go down the rabbit hole of the negativity.
That is a wonderful lesson. So tell our listeners or anyone who's looking to connect with you, where can they connect with you for social media, Nancy?
Our social media is on Instagram and LinkedIn is Envision Interiors NC. You can find us on both of those by typing that in. Our website is almost finished. It will be envisioninteriorsnc.com.
So thank
You
you
can always reach me by email and phone too. It's by my side 20.
Nancy, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story. I love how you've taken staging and design beyond just making beautiful homes. You've turned it into a way to help realtors, buyers, and sellers truly see their potential in the space.
Well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun talking to you.
Thank you. Have a great day, Nancy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I appreciate you being here with us on the Carolina Business Leadership Show. Go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if this episode helped you, share it with another business owner in your network. And if you're in the Carolinas and need guidance around health, life, or Medicare insurance, don't hesitate to reach out to Lifetime Insurance Agency. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.